NASCAR's penalties looming, and a celebrity boxing match on the table. Will this fierce feud escalate out of control?
Get out of here! Get out of here, fucking bitch! Fucking stupid! Why am I stupid? Why are you putting 3 wide? I didn't touch you! Who cares? You know we're gonna fucking hit off the 2. We have plenty of room. There's no room. Plenty of room, bud.
Make sure to subscribe to NASCAR today, and let's find out what Hamlin, Busch, and Stenhouse have in store for the upcoming Coca-Cola 600. Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch, former teammates, have had their fair share of ups and downs together. These days, they tend to keep things pretty neutral, but back in 2010, during the nail-biting closing laps of the Sprint All-Star race, Hamlin made a sharp move to block Busch from taking the lead. Busch was fuming, and it seems like he might have had a flashback to that intense moment after Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s recent nudge in lap 1. Hamlin has come out in full support of Stenhouse, saying, "My opinion is that you've got 200 laps if you think that that is your only shot to get a couple of spots, because you know that we're probably not going to be competitive, so I at least got to just look good on these restarts." He added, "If Ricky was driving my car, he probably would be more patient. Rick's doing the most he can with what he has, and I'll die on that hill. I believe in Ricky's talent. I'm just saying that it leads to incidences more than not." Hamlin's got a point. If a driver decides to barrel through and grab 2 spots on lap 1, they're playing a risky game. Cars just aren't as steady as they are by lap 20. But Hamlin's not just blindly siding with Stenhouse. He backs the initial maneuvers because they were strategic plays to snag a few spots. In fact, Hamlin mentioned, "Ricky's pissed because he has a valid point. I'd never hit you until you hit the wall and then we make contact." Ricky's right, he is 100% right. But Hamlin's respect for Stenhouse goes beyond just this incident. He appreciates Stenhouse's direct approach, noting, "Ricky is one of those stand-up humans that when he tells you he's going to do something, he's probably going to do it." And boy, did Stenhouse follow through. Despite Kyle Busch trying to defuse the situation later, Stenhouse landed a punch on his jaw, just like he said he would. According to Hamlin, Stenhouse was letting some of his fellow competitors know during the race that he intended to confront Busch. "I didn't realize that when I went back and looked. We have a group text, and it's me and Austin. It's got JP and Jared, my buddy Greg, and it's got Ricky and Kyle Larson on it. He was letting us know while the race was going on that he's gonna go after him. So of course I'm in the race so I don't see it," Hamlin said, via On3. "But there's others that are not in the race, so he's stuck in the infield on his phone and he's fuming." NASCAR has yet to announce any sanctions for Stenhouse or Busch, but potentially significant ones are forthcoming. NASCAR's Senior Vice President of Racing Development, John Probst, said on Sunday, "Nothing to announce right now. I would say that we've already started looking at the tape. We'll take a deep dive into that Tuesday, and certainly there will be some announcements, I would anticipate." There's a lot of folks involved there that we don't like seeing.
Yeah, certainly. We're obviously still getting feedback from the garage, but I can say, hats off to Goodyear for getting aggressive with this tire. It did a lot of things that we thought it would do. I think we saw some pretty good racing out there. We gave the teams some strategy to choose from. Did everything go exactly like we thought? No. I think we would have all liked to see the tires fall off a little more, and, credit to the 22 for doing something that honestly, Friday in practice and, working with Goodyear, we didn't think you could do. We didn't think we'd see somebody run it.
According to Kyle Petty, it was the 2X Cup Series champion in the wrong on this occasion, and his decision to wreck Stenhouse was uncalled for. Petty said, "I think that Kyle Busch, and he didn't have the hindsight, didn't have the opportunity in the 1.5 laps that he ran to watch the replay of the video when he was in the wrong and Ricky Stenhouse was in the right. You could have put 2 fans in the middle of the racetrack between Ricky Stenhouse and Kyle Busch, and he still runs into the wall." But racing icon Jeff Burton believes that there might be a deeper psychology behind Busch's anger. Jeff said, "Whatever you think about him, he's also a human being. The guy loves to win, and he hasn't been able to on a frequent basis. There's no way that's not on his mind." Based on precedent and NASCAR's stringent rules against physical violence and other violent manifestations, penalties appear inevitable for multiple members of both teams involved in Sunday's incident. While NASCAR has often taken a lenient stance when drivers square off one-on-one, they've shown less tolerance when crews or other outside parties get involved physically. Last year, the Truck Series saw suspensions and fines handed out after a similar fracas. Matt Crafton was fined $25,000 for punching Nick Sanchez, whose father was suspended for the final 2 races for inserting himself into the altercation at Talladega. Following that precedent, Stenhouse's father could be facing a suspension for going after Busch during the brawl. Any crew members who can be identified as throwing punches are also likely to be suspended or fined. The 2 drivers themselves could be subject to monetary fines as well, though suspensions may be less likely for Stenhouse and Busch, unless NASCAR views one as being the principal instigator. Given he admittedly lied in wait and threw the first punch, Stenhouse may receive the harshest punishment of the 2 competitors. However, Busch's perceived intentional wrecking of Stenhouse before the confrontation may work in Stenhouse's favor when it comes to disciplinary measures. If NASCAR deems Busch's on-track retaliation to be excessive, it could factor into any penalties he receives. With emotions already running exceptionally high between the 2 drivers and their respective teams, the incident could raise the stakes heading into next weekend's crown jewel Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. A harsh punishment for Stenhouse may stir even more animosity and retaliation on the track. For that reason, NASCAR will need to carefully weigh the rules and precedent against any potential safety concerns as it determines penalties in the days ahead. Any suspensions of drivers or crew members deemed central agitators could go a long way toward de-escalating the feud. But if the punishments are seen as too light, it may fail to deter any further physical confrontations down the road. The scuffle between Busch and Stenhouse has caught the attention of official celebrity boxing CEO Damon Feldman, who can already smell the money in the air. In an interview with TMZ Sports, Feldman offered to let the 2 NASCAR superstars duke it out in a boxing ring. Feldman stated, "Come on, NASCAR, let's make this the biggest deal in the country." While Busch has yet to say anything on the matter, Stenhouse seemed completely open to the idea following the scuffle with his NASCAR rival, just as long as the proceeds are going to charity. Ricky stated, "I would do that, that would be fun." Stenhouse is likely to face stiff punishments from NASCAR for throwing a punch, so he might have time to do some proper training for a boxing match while he sits out some future races. So there you have it. NASCAR fans, the explosive feud between Kyle Busch and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has taken a fierce turn, with Denny Hamlin's bold defense of Stenhouse's actions. As the Coca-Cola 600 approaches and potential penalties loom, the tension is reaching a boiling point. Will NASCAR drop the hammer on Stenhouse and Busch, or will they let the drivers settle their differences on the track, or even in the boxing ring? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Subscribe to our channel NASCAR Today and hit that notification bell to stay up to date.